Welcome to Boatrek Live 93. This is an exciting day full of Star Trek news. Uh, we're going to get started right now. Thank you for joining me, Marcelo. It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
All right, some interesting news. You haven't really looked at this yet, Marcelo, so this is all going to be new to you.
No, I've heard nothing.
But we got the first image from Section 31.
Oh,
And,
cool.
uh, oh my God, I made sure to remember her name, Rachel Garrett. Is that her name? She's the captain of the Enterprise C.
Yeah, yeah, Rachel Garrett. Yeah, I think you got that right.
Rachel Garrett, Star Trek.
Oh,
Yeah. So there's a character named Rachel Garrett in the new Section 31 movie, which leads people to believe that perhaps the movie is set in the early 24th century. I'm guessing probably about 23, 20 something. About 20 years before she becomes the captain of the Enterprise C. So in Discovery season 3, Michelle Yeoh's character leaves the show. She's transported back in time to some place by the Guardian of Forever, but we never knew uh, when. So unless she was transported back to Strange New World times and TOS times, and then there's time travel involved in the show, uh, this image might seem to suggest there might be some clues from this image I'm about to bring up that maybe there is some time travel shenanigans involved, perhaps
uh-huh.
involving the Borg.
Oh, please, God, no.
Because look at this. So this is the
uh,
first image from the very next Star Trek movie to be released, Section 31. Is Michelle
damn it.
Yeoh with some guy that looks like he has a Borg spine on the top of his head.
Oh, I
So,
hope that's not a Borg. Like,
I hope not either. I hope it's
God
Borg inspired, and that's it.
damn it. Yeah, Borg inspired, but not a Borg. Like, that looks cool. He like the back of his neck enclosure looks like the back of Dark Vader's head, but without the helmet. But okay,
And Michelle
I like
Yeoh, I
that.
mean, she always looks great. So she's in
Oh
that
yeah,
black leather, and
yeah.
I really don't know. The setting is interesting now that it might be set in it's what they call the lost era of Star Trek that hasn't been explored. So in the late 22 no in the 2290s at some point, the Enterprise B was launched, and we don't know how long that was around for. We don't know exactly when the Enterprise C started, but we do know, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, that there is about a 20-year gap between when the Enterprise C was destroyed and when the Enterprise D was launched. So the Enterprise C was
Okay.
destroyed in 2344, and the Enterprise D was launched 21 years later, I believe. I don't have the facts in front of me, but that's the most interesting thing about this movie now is that it is very possibly set in this timeline, and announcing the character of Rachel Garrett is interesting. I'm more interested now than I've ever been in this movie.
Uh huh. Yeah.
What
No,
do you think?
I'm no, no. I'm very interested now that I know the time period that they're going in. Going into an unexplored time period in Star Trek history is wise because you won't ruffle any feathers because this is the first time that we're going into this time period, at least on film. So I think that's a safe choice by the writers, by the writer or the writers of this movie and the director
And
and the
go
and
ahead.
and the creative team. I'm sorry.
No, no apologies needed, my friend. Uh,
Yeah.
Here's another image. I don't know. I'm pretty sure you didn't see yet. First image from Strange New Worlds season 3, and it's Spock in the brand new set. It's the science lab,
Uh,
and look at the suit
okay.
he's wearing.
Uh,
They're making an effort here. They're making an
Okay.
effort.
Okay. Now I see. I just had to zoom in with my eyeballs there, but I like it. I like it.
Strange New Worlds is iffy. It has good and bad elements. One of the best things about season two was showing the Klingons in various designs, trying to marry the canon, much like how Picard season one did the Romulans, showing a variety of
Right.
designs to kind of marry the different canon, or trying to make it all make sense at least.
Right.
This spacesuit is very reminiscent of the TOS spacesuit,
Yeah. No. No. You know what it looks like? It
almost
looks like
exactly.
It looks like the spacesuit from Naked Time.
The one where Kirk is like a ghost. Is that the
No,
one?
no, 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 no. That's where.
Oh
Uh,
yes,
th-
no, I know what you're talking about. The one where everybody's frozen.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that's what it's got shades of, and I really like it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about the colorful floor, but okay.
you're gonna laugh at this next one because
Yeah.
I don't know if you know about this. This I love this because you don't know about it. You
Okay.
may not
Yeah.
know about this now, but
Sure.
I'm gonna share this tab.
Go.
Star Trek 4 gets another writer, but franchise origin story movie could arrive first. My God, people, what? Just stop it. Just stop. This is 8 years of this bullshit,
Just,
and that's what it is. More
just
Star Trek
shut.
4 BS. This, if this movie's gonna happen, it's gonna be in the 2030s when the TV is coming. The TV franchise Kurtzman Trek is come and gone, but it seems like Kurtzman Trek's gonna be around for a good few more years at
Oh my god!
least.
Who? No, no. Who's writing? Does the article say?
Uh, uh, the latest scribe to take on the long gestating project is Steve Yockey, or Yoki,
Who
I
the
think it's
fuck?
Yaki, who has primarily worked in TV writing for shows like Supernatural and Doom Patrol, and more recently creating and showrunning Max's The Flight Attendant and the upcoming Netflix Sandman spin off series Dead
What?
Boy Detectives.
What
Paramount
the
still
hell?
sees this movie as the final film for the Kelvin crew of
Oh
Chris
my
Pine, Zachary Quinto,
god!
who, by the
Just
way, these are actors
what?
who every time they're asked, it's like the most awkward kind of like exchange of like, I guess, I don't know, maybe. I haven't seen it. They always
Just.
say they haven't seen a script, and I'm pretty sure they're not going to see a script from this guy either. I'm being pessimistic, but this could be, but like it's like the boy who cried wolf. This is like the studio that cried Star Trek 4. It's like we just stopped believing it a long time ago.
Yeah. Enough already. Enough. Look.
Enough.
Look. Look. There is nobody that I know that loves the Kelvin universe more than me. Okay, I'm the biggest cheerleader for the Kelvin universe because the Kelvin universe reignited my love for the Star Trek franchise in general and led me out to this one and led me out to these wonderful people eventually. But the fact that we've had so much turnover with this movie, like this movie might come out when I'm fucking dead and on my deathbed. It's like, what what are you doing, guys? What the hell are you doing?
It's and it speaks of a lack of
Oh
continuity
my
between
god!
the film and the television universe. For
You
example,
know what?
if you put this movie out, then you have two different Spocks existing at the same time, two different Kirks existing at two different Scotties, and whoever else. What who McCoy's not in Strange New Worlds yet. Neither. Okay,
Right.
Uhura. So you have
Um,
it's brand confusion in my opinion,
Uh-huh.
because I think a lot of people have assumed that they've moved on from the Kelvin. Of course, rest in peace,
Yeah.
the great Anton Yelchin.
Yeah.
At first, there was
No,
there was a lot of talk of like, it wouldn't feel right to do it without him, and it's like, what's the point after Beyond?
I could fix this thing in 2 seconds. If you want to do a Star Trek movie, I'm gonna fix it for you. But his relationship with the studio is fucking murky at best from what I understand. Okay. Now I have no inside sources. I want to make that clear. But why the fuck doesn't Alex, who I assume is going to produce this movie, call up the guy that he wrote Star Trek '09 with? Call Bob Orsi. Bob Orsi had a Star Trek script.
He's been there, but he's been there and rejected.
Yeah,
And by the way,
under
Bad Robot would be producing it. J.J.
right,
Abrams would be producing it, and
right,
Kurtzman wouldn't have any
right,
creative control.
right, right,
Kurtzman is all TV, and
right, right,
yeah.
right. I understand that, but whether JJ is going to produce, Bad Robot is going to produce. That's a given. But I'm just talking about efficiency. If you want a Star Trek 4, for God fucking sakes, at least give it to a Star Trek fan who has an idea, who has a script, whether you rejected it or not. If you really want to make this happen, and you obviously don't care, because if you cared, this would have happened years ago. Dust off the script that Bob Orsi did, and let him write with it. Let him run with it, because he'll make a Star Trek movie that will please at least half of the Star Trek fans, and then we can be done with this bullshit. And and then we can really put the Kelvin timeline to bed. Just do that. What is so difficult about doing that? The problem, last thing I'll say about this, PJ, the problem is that there are too many fucking cooks in the kitchen with this Star Trek movie. That's the problem.
Well, too many cooks have tried to cook in the kitchen unsuccessfully, is the way I view it,
Right.
because
Right.
they've cycled through directors. I can't remember. I mean, somebody's going to do a list, and it's going to be long, of
Yeah.
writers, directors who are attached to this. The very first idea for a Beyond sequel was the Chris Hemsworth, Chris
Time travel thing,
Pine
right?
time travel thing, where
Yeah.
he meets his father and stuff. And you know, our friend Father. Every time I've brought
Yes.
up remastering DS9 and
This,
Voyager, he always
yeah.
points out it's not cost effective. And that's just that's the same argument I have for Star Trek 4. You're bringing back a cast for a fourth installment. Do you expect them to work for pennies?
No, they're not gonna. They're not gonna
They're
work
going
for
to have
pennies.
to
They're gonna
work
be
for
expensive.
less. They're going to have to agree to work for less. Probably maybe a cut of the percentage of the
Profits.
profits would be a better
Yeah.
deal.
Mm-hmm.
But how can you, especially this day and age, when a Ghostbusters movie probably won't even break even, or if it does, make very little profit, in a day and
Right.
age where I still can't go and see Dune because it is one of the few actual quality films out there. People are people have this appreciation for good movies where they just completely dismiss anything that's below. Like, people are very picky nowadays. I've never seen theaters or tickets for movies so lackluster, aside from big movies like Dune 2. Like, I looked up Ghostbusters, and now Godzilla, the new Godzilla movie that's coming out tomorrow. And it's like
Right.
nobody's going. Maybe it's different in different parts of the North America, but where I am, the enthusiasm is still just for Dune 2. And it's crazy how I keep looking at and it's like all the center, it's not always sold out, but all the center seats are taken. I'm like,
Mm.
damn, people are still going to see this in IMAX.
Yeah.
And now they only have one showing a day in IMAX, and
Yeah.
people are still.
Yeah. No. And the other look, the other thing is that Denis Villeneuve has a vision, and he was able to somehow get the Warner Brothers brass to trust him, and they let him play in his sandbox, and they didn't mess with that. So if whoever is in charge of making, I said I was going to say one more thing, but I lied.
Go ahead.
Who's ever in charge of making the decisions for Star Trek 4, here's what they have to do. Okay. Whoever they hire, whether it's Bob or whoever else.
Well, they've hired this guy now. So
Yeah. Well,
this Steve Yoki
that,
guy, or Yaki,
yeah,
Steve Yoki.
yeah. That guy. They have to say what kind of story they want from that guy. And whatever that guy comes up with, if they really, really care about doing another four, if they really care about doing another Star Trek movie, and and are really serious about this, which clearly they're not because they would have done it already. They have to say, okay, these are the parameters of the script that these are the parameters that for the script that you have to write. We want this, this, and this to happen. If that guy accomplish those goals competently and makes a good story out of your parameters that you set, you need to go, okay, good, a good job. This is the script we're going to go with. Let's go. But I think that they keep changing their minds. That
Well,
that's
yeah.
why, yeah. That's why there's like been 100 writers on this thing, and we've got nothing. Like, make whoever's in charge of making this make a decision, for God's sakes. Either you're going to do it or you're not. But stop this ridiculous bullshit. It's ridiculous.
It is a long list of development hell details
Yeah.
when it comes to this movie. I don't know. I don't. I've said, you've heard me say this before. Is like, if this ever happens, it's gonna happen when uh, Pine and crew are like uh, TOS movie age. Like, when these guys are getting up there and they're almost in their 50s now. They're all in their 40s, late 40s.
Yeah.
I think some of, I think I don't know their ages, but
Yeah.
they're gonna probably gonna be in their 50s by the time they get rolling on this, if it ever happens. But I guarantee there's going to be an article in the future where Pine or Quinto or Zoe Saldana is asked about this, and they're going to be like, "No, I haven't seen a script." They're just. I'd like for one of these actors just to snap and say, "Listen, I don't know. Stop asking me. You've been asking me for 8 years. Nobody's told me anything. Nobody's ever sent me a script. They keep talking about it like it's going to happen, but they never talk to the cast apparently." So maybe this
Yeah.
time is different. Let's hope for the best.
Yeah.
Let's move
Yeah.
on to this.
That's the only thing we can do.
Starfleet Academy, confirmed to be set in the 32nd century.
30 seconds. Okay.
So it is indeed a spin off
Yep.
of
Yeah.
Discovery.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what. Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty much what I thought, so to speak. I sound like Martin when he's at that like a white elephant hill on the TV when he has this big clock. And he goes, "That's what I thought."
Yeah.
Um, from Frasier. Sorry. Yeah, I like that. Like, again, it's nothing that I've been speculated about. It's nothing that you haven't speculated about. But it's nice that we have confirmation about it now.
Uh, Apparently, it's going to have the biggest set, the largest single set ever built for Star Trek.
Okay, I like that.
So you're gonna see like the halls of the Academy, and I guess, and hopefully, it's
That
gonna have like
that's
a
good.
promenade type feel. I want a Star Trek show where you're in a futuristic building that is open spaces and like stairs and balcony and stuff. Maybe that,
That's
like a
cool.
like a whole area that you can film a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Do you think? So I guess Mary Wiseman might star in this show. No confirmation on that, but
Yeah,
uh,
I mean that makes sense. I mean, they set her up in the most recent season of Discovery that she feels really passionate about bringing up and teaching the new generation of Starfleet, the leaders of tomorrow. So that would make sense that she basically do a Miles O'Brien and go from Discovery to Starfleet Academy.
it would. I want to hear the like. I can't wait to hear who they cast in the show, and will they get any big names? Like, it would matter. It has to be a good show anyway. But uh,
Yeah, it's not gonna matter.
so,
No,
there's a
also,
there's a certain person who complains about this show or
certain person.
Discovery. I won't name him, but you can probably guess who
Oh,
it is.
yeah.
Who keeps referring to Discovery being set in the 31st century. I've corrected this person. They just don't seem to care. It's annoying. They keep saying the 31st 21st century. They're in the
Mhm.
32nd century. They're in like
32nd century.
this Starfleet Academy show is probably going to be set in like 30 in the 3190s, probably 3193 or something like that, because
Okay.
Discovery season 4 was 3190, and assuming that season 5 is like 3191. Hey, if this show lasts long enough, could be a 33rd century show. So,
Right. Right.
but
No, but you,
I don't know if it'll
yeah,
last.
no, but I've been a champion for the show for a long time. I've said on several streams, as a matter of fact, I've said on streams that you've been a part of, I think, that I want this to be the OC in space. Now, I don't
I
want
haven't
drug
seen the
use.
OC, so I have no. What is the OC like?
The
Does it have
OC
that guy
shows,
from Gotham in it? Is
yeah,
that the one?
yeah,
Okay, I've
yeah,
seen a bit of it. I've seen parts of it.
yeah. Okay, okay. Now, for those of you who have seen the OC, I don't want drug use. I don't want, yeah, I don't want that stuff. But what I want is a Star Trek show truly made for teenagers, like people in their mm, 16 to 17 to early 20s. That's what I want. Um, and also this is probably going to drive a lot of people crazy, but I want romantic love triangles and all this shit. Um, so yeah, I mean, if I was writing that, if I was in the writing, if I was in the writers' room of Starfleet Academy, that's what I would that's what I would pitch myself as. I'm like, if you put me on the show, I love Star Trek, but I want to take Star Trek in a different direction. And this is what I would bring to the show if you hire me.
I wonder how they're gonna.
Um,
I wonder how they're gonna handle the cadet part of it. Will a character or characters go on a ship? Will a starship be a part of it, or will they lead up to that in the first season where
no,
it's all ground, it's all classroom, it's all simulation?
yeah,
I
no,
think you're gonna have a good excuse to have like a lot of simulation type of things in here. But yeah, it would have to survive in the strength of the drama or the
right,
relationships between the characters.
right.
More
No,
so than other Star Trek shows.
right. The other, no, no, the other thing that I would do, to your point, I would keep my characters on the ground and grounded as long as I could. I wouldn't let my characters smell a ship until I felt that they were absolutely ready as characters to do that. Because if I introduced other characters going away on ships, then fans might say, "Oh, if you introduce a ship, why don't you go to a different part of the galaxy?" I'm like, "No, the show is called Starfleet Academy, and that's where we're going to stay for the large part of the series. That's where we're going to stay. That's what the show is called. This is not Starfleet Academy and whatever ship. That's not what this is."
No, it really does, and it really does depend on the
The
strength of
showrunner.
characters, and but Tawny Newsome is writing, so I'm
Yeah.
assuming it's not going to be all serious. Like there will be
Yeah. No.
some
No.
humor involved,
No.
definitely
This gonna
some
be.
love triangles,
Yeah.
some
Yes.
relationship stuff.
Yeah, good love triangles. Also, my big uh uh the thing that I'm latching on to, and for those of you who have heard me speak about the show, I'm not going to say the obvious thing. The lead writer on this, with Alice Kurtzman, wrote on Nancy Drew. So she comes from that CW ilk. So she has the capability of delivering the types of stories that I think would work for a series like this.
It has to be quality. Like it can't just be CW like. It has to be more than that.
Right, yeah, yeah. So if you say CW like, I would say upper echelon CW like, That's what I would say.
But the way the CW is now, they've abandoned
Right.
a lot of
Right.
scripted shows.
Right. Right. But I'm not talking about the CW
Yeah,
now. I'm talking about the
yeah, I know.
CW before it became the
Like
CW,
first two seasons of Arrow, CW
yeah.
was really good.
Yeah.
and then the rest is kind of like the worst
Right.
aspects of that type of television.
Right. When I yeah. Well, also, I just want to be clear. When I say the CW, folks, I'm referencing the final days of the WB when it turned to the CW. I'm referencing writing like the Vampire Diaries,
Yeah.
uh, writing like uh,
Was
Buffy the
OC
Vampire Slayer
CW
stuff.
or
No, that's Channel
WB?
5. No, that's Channel 5.
Oh.
The OC was on Channel 5. But when I say the CW, that's what I'm sort of that's the era of TV that I'm looking at. I'm looking at Dawson's Creek, Felicity, stuff like that. You know, I'm not looking at the Greg Berlanti superhero verse. I'm not looking at that.
So, because it's a Starfleet Academy set in the 32nd century, and it takes place presumably after the events of Discovery season 5,
Yep.
leaves it open to cameos from
Mm.
the cast of Discovery. You could have
Yeah.
guest lecturers like Saru, or
Yeah.
Burnham could drop by and teach every single class simultaneously because she is unrelenting space Jesus. But I love Burnham. I love Burnham. They gave her that ability for they. I mean, she's a human. She's a human who was raised on Vulcan and had to compete with Vulcans. So the fact that she knows it all makes sense to me, and I have no problem with that. Like other people do, like Mary Sue. I'm like, well, I mean, if you as a writer give her the ability to do everything, then she can teach all them classes. But in seriousness, she's a specialist in xenobiology. Isn't it xenobiology? So she could definitely teach a class on that. But
That's the best thing.
she could teach anything. She's like, my mother and father built the most advanced piece of technology ever in the Star Trek universe called the Red Angel suit, which can take a whole church and a whole town of people and move them light years across space and time without any plausible explanation. Uh,
That's the best thing I've ever heard about Michael Burnham. A relenting space cheese.
well, I didn't give her that. I've heard that name said
I've
for
never heard of
years.
that. Oh
You
my
never heard
god.
Space Jesus?
No.
It came mostly from season 2 because of the angel suit and stuff like that. And so many people predicted she's going to be the Red Angel, and then it turned out she was, but also her mother. But yeah,
Oh my god. Oh, this made me cry. Look, I've heard a lot of shit about Michael Burnham, but I've never heard that. That's like the best thing I've heard today. Thank
and
you.
if I was ever in the Star Trek universe, I would want to be on her team because she
Oh
does
yeah.
not fail
Oh fuck. Oh
ever.
hell yeah.
No,
Oh
no,
hell
she.
yeah.
People always want to say that she's like an infallible kind of character,
Oh
when
shut
in
up.
fact, if you look at the very beginning of the show,
Yeah.
the show is all predicated on the fact that she made a huge fucking mistake,
Yeah.
and she was
Now,
wrongheaded, and
yeah.
she let her
If you
emotions guide her
yeah.
instead of her wit and intelligence that led her
If you look
into
at
being in prison for life and then getting out of it with Lorca's help. But anyway, go ahead.
if you look at the storyline of Michael Burnham's life, you know what Discovery is about when it comes to Michael Burnham? Discovery is about Michael Burnham repenting for her sins and making amends for her mistakes. That's what the story of Discovery is about, and that's what the story about Michael Burnham is. Because, like PJ said, when we first meet her, she fucked up royally. Her decision started a war. She was responsible for the deaths of millions of people. And for the first little bit in Discovery, she was headstrong. She didn't listen to a fucking thing anybody said, and she did what she wanted. And rightly or wrongly, that created an image of her, and she learned how to be the type of officer that she wanted to be from her experiences and from her mistakes or her fuck ups.
And
So,
even in season
yeah,
4, she butts heads with the president about like, you're a captain now. You have to be a little more responsible and stop jumping
yeah,
into the action.
yeah,
But the Burnham's going to do that anyway. I mean, in season 5, I mean, she's
yeah.
going off.
It's
I
Michael.
don't
Yeah,
want to spoil anything about who's captaining the Discovery or anything, but
yeah.
it's like she's gone and then somebody else is in charge. It's like, are you okay? That's
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 interesting.
a captains can be rogue and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
it's I like the fact that in season 4 they do kind of address her complex, but like her savior complex. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
she's always wants to be the one to save the day because she feels she knows
Responsible.
the best. But the character they do acknowledge in the show that she learns to surrender control and trust other people more, and
Hmm.
it'll be interesting to see how her character ends. But the fact that this
Mm.
32nd Century Starfleet Academy show is going to exist leaves the door open for those actors to
Yeah.
return in some capacity, even in a guest role.
Yeah.
So the last bit
Well,
of thing I want to. Oh, what were you going to say? Something? Sorry.
no, but the other thing that I don't want is I like if they wanna, if they wanna, have Federico Martin Green. Hold on one second. Yeah, okay. If they want to have Federico Martin Green on on Starfleet Academy, I'm fine with the cameo on the pilot. But like beyond that, I would be a little dubious. Like for example, I want like something like the ode of um, Next Generation handing off the Star Trek baton um, to D Space Nine, right?
Hmm.
That's as cameo as I want to get. Just me personally.
What are the chances, do you think, that one of the either students or teachers, I'm going to lean toward teachers, is an artificial life form, either a hologram or a Soong like android?
I would. I would bet big money on that. I don't know how much I would wager, but I would bet big money on that.
And it's like at one point the student gets mad at the teacher's like, "You're not even real," or something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that. It's
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
let's go back to the OC guys.
Yeah.
Orange County, that's what I just
Yeah,
realized.
yeah, yeah.
OC, Orange County.
Ghost
Duh.
is Orange County. Yeah,
Must have been in California, hey? Uh,
yeah.
so Alex Kurtzman, there's a big old article on Variety about all the Star Trek stuff going on. But one of the things it says, should Section 31 prove successful, Yo says she's game for a sequel. Lovely.
Uh,
And Kurtzman is already eyeing more opportunities for TV movies, including a possible follow up to Picard.
okay.
So I don't know if Legacy. I know people keep calling it Legacy. That's the video game name. I hope they. I really don't. I really hope
Don't
if
do
they
that.
do a Star Trek Picard follow up, do not call it Legacy. I'm sick of all. You know what? It's this is why social media annoys me. Is because when fans want a certain thing so bad. Now they do this with trailers too. Like say if Warner Brothers releases a trailer, but the fans want or are desperate for a trailer for something else,
Right.
they'll troll the comments of like, yes, but where's the whatever trailer? And
Right.
it's like, why don't you just enjoy what they're giving you now and stop
Mhm.
talking about the other things so
Stop
much that it
whining.
become whining? Yeah, it's like this. Release the Snyder cut. Release the Air cut. I want to see this. I wanted to see the Snyder cut, and I if Air cut ever happened, sure, I'd like to watch it. But
Yeah.
every time they talk about something else completely that was Warner Brothers, what about the release? This I'm like, okay, guys, they're doing this with Legacy now, where every time there's something about Section 31 or Starfleet Academy, it's like, what about Legacy? It's like, give it time. This is like time and money are involved. And the best Kurtzman can do, or any of these people at this point, is say, we're interested in it. Stop
It,
acting like, because there's this theory that Kurtzman doesn't want a follow up to Picard.
oh,
Really,
no.
he doesn't want something that's gonna possibly be more likely to be successful and probably
You know,
please a lot of people. He
yeah,
doesn't want that. Strange to me
you
that
know,
belief, but
look, I have a lot of respect for Alec Kurtzman. Okay, now for those of you who know me, they're gonna be like, "Oh, of course you do. He's one of your idols, and he's one of your heroes." Yes, that's true. But here's the fact: like, I guarantee you that Alex Kurtzman hears all the whispers that the fan community gives him, whether they're good or bad, and he makes the best decisions that he can make. Whether you agree with them or not is your problem. But these people who are making Star Trek are very passionate about what they do, and they can't always bend the knee to what you people to what you guys want or what they want. That's that's impossible.
It's a part of the frustration with the fans, I think, is the lack of foresight. The fact that when they knew they had something good with Picard season 3, they didn't keep Terry Metalis around
Okay,
to actually work on the follow up. But he had other, he had the Witch Mountain thing
right.
and other things that he's working on.
Okay,
And he said, and the cast have said, have confirmed over people. It, I know there's a sect of people out there that think it's secretly being like done or something. It's not.
mhm.
It's not even. It.
No, it's not.
I
Uh,
guarantee people have been approached about like what ideas can you bring to it aside from Terry Metalis. I'm sure Terry Metalis might have some involvement, but
yeah.
whoever's going to be working on this, I think it would make more sense
Mhm.
to do the Picard follow up as a movie, which could also be a backdoor pilot.
Yeah, you can
Because a
do that.
Picard follow up would probably star Patrick Stewart as Picard for the last time or
Picard.
one of the last times, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
But a legacy series can't, or a legacy type series, or a follow up to Picard as a series couldn't, it shouldn't be a Patrick Stewart series. He could be a
Right.
guest or supporting character, but it has to be a Jerry Ryan, Michelle Hurd, Ed Speleers,
Lead
Ed
vehicle. Yeah.
led vehicle on the Enterprise G.
Yeah.
Is it G now? Yeah, they're at
Yeah.
G already.
No, but I have
Coming in
I
2028, the Enterprise
yeah,
X.
I have one question for you, and then I'm gonna leave you for like 30 seconds. I just have to go do something really, really quick, and then I'm gonna come back. It's gonna take me like maybe 4 minutes, maybe, and then I'll come back. I promise. I yeah, I just have to run for a couple minutes, and then I'll be right back. Um, do you think if if the internet was around when Berman was making his Star Trek universe, or Berman Trek, as a lot of people have came to lovingly call it, do you think um, if if uh, if the internet was around, do you think that there would be this much conversation about Berman Trek the way that there is about Kurtzman Trek?
Well, yeah, I know the internet wasn't around in chats in the early night, but there was a certain point in Berman
Right,
Trek where there was discussion about
mm,
it. I remember in
right,
98 being in some chat, Star Trek chat, and
okay.
people were like really mean and
Yeah,
like, what the
yeah,
hell? I guess I don't know my shit.
yeah. Now I'm gonna run, but I'll be right back. I'm gonna try and come back real quick, PJ. So
Yeah,
sorry
take your
about.
time. It's all good. It's all good.
All right.
So, guys, there's nobody here watching live right now, but while Marcelo's away, I want to talk about some things I've been watching on the TV. We'll get off the Star Trek topic. Let me just look at my list of things because I can't remember offhand what I watch, but I make a list of things so I know when things are coming out because there's so many streaming services that I cycle through. I can't have them all at once. So I don't have AMC right now, and I have to catch up on The Walking Dead: The Ones Who Live, the show starring Ganai Devera and Andrew Lincoln. It's pretty good. It's better than the Daryl TV series. I haven't seen The World Beyond, and I haven't seen all of Fear the Walking Dead, but the ones who live is probably the best one since since The Walking Dead went off the air. Just so you know, waiting for Marcelo, I'm talking about the things I'm watching on the TV. Isn't this exciting? I saw Napoleon earlier this month. It was okay. I got really sick of Napoleon as a character and like his relationship with that woman in the movie was really annoying. Curb Your Enthusiasm. Been watching the final season. 8 episodes in now. Not the best season, but some episodes are pretty good. Um, I won't spoil anything, but the plot involves Larry giving water to somebody in a lineup when they're voting, and he gets charged. And some people think he's a hero, and he wants to challenge it. And he goes through a couple of lawyers dealing with the situation. I watched Wonka, starring Timothy Chalamet. A lot funnier than I thought it was going to be. Olivia Colman, especially, is really good in it. In fact, the supporting cast kind of outshines Timothée Chalamet, Timothy Chalamet. Yeah. What else have I watched this month? Oh yeah, I began to watch Anatomy of a Fall, and I got really bored, and I turned it off. I did watch American Fiction, a very good movie. Deserved the nomination for Best Picture. Funny too, in parts. 6 episodes into the 10 episode miniseries Shogun. It is fantastic. It's very
Okay,
engaging.
PJ, I'm back. Sorry, guys. I had to run for a quick second.
I was just talking about the stuff we watched. Oh, Roadhouse. Did
Yeah.
you see Roadhouse?
Yeah, I saw Roadhouse. Before I say my piece, what'd you think?
Oh boy. Well, Conor McGregor. Oh, he made
Oh,
me laugh.
good God. That man could probably kick the shit out of me in 100 ways, but I'm like, dude.
I'm here to get the job done.
I'm like, what
Anyway,
the?
Jake Gyllenhaal, dude. Okay, we're gonna talk about this. I have to put up the banner and say spoilers because you got to talk about the spoilers.
Sure.
But Jake Gyllenhaal in the movie, uh,
Yep.
he's an ex UFC fighter. And listen, I'll just say right off the bat that it is no Roadhouse
No. 80,
1989.
80. No, it's not at all.
That is a cult classic, and that fight at the end is real. The dude's like, "I fuck guys like you in prison." Like that's a
Yeah.
classic line. Uh,
Yeah. No. Yeah.
doesn't come close to it, but it is
No way.
still an entertaining movie.
Yeah.
And
I
Conor
mean, look.
McGregor, even though he can't act, and he's such a prick, you just want him. By the end of it, you kind of got some like the fights. The worst thing about this fights though is that they do this CG cut stuff where they try to do continuous shots, so they do like morph cuts,
Yeah.
and they're obvious, and it looks like CG manipulation. And when really
Yeah.
it's not CG, it's just this weird morphing effect that throws me off. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. No. I mean, a lot of people in the interwebs who saw this movie said, "Oh, it should have definitely gone to theaters," and I'm like, no, not really, because I this movie was just fine to me.
It is a
Um,
straight to video movie, isn't it?
yeah, yeah, I see no reason why Amazon should have put this in theaters. I completely agree with their decision to put it on straight to Prime Video because after I finished, I'm like, this is no Roadhouse. This is just a movie that has Roadhouse in the title, but it's so vastly different from the original. I go, okay, if you took the name off of this movie and called it something else, the movie would still work. So why'd you put Roadhouse on
Mm,
it?
I can see like for one thing you got no character like Sam Elliott's character in it. They have nothing like that.
Right.
The bar owner
Yeah,
is
is
for one thing,
there.
the bar owner in the original is kind of an idiot. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He is an idiot.
he takes bad advice from Patrick Swayze's Dalton's character when he fires the dude he's not supposed to fire for skimming the register. When
Yeah.
really the dude could have been probably warned or disciplined, but it basically sets off the chain of events that leads to the crazy shit at the
That
end.
that leads to everything else. Yeah.
So of course it had it's essential for the plot, but here it's like the bad guy's like, I want this to get rid of this thing for my
I want. Yeah,
it's
yeah,
the thinnest and it's so flimsy a motivation for the bad guy
yeah.
that you'd think like if this were real life, they someone would just pay off that bar owner a ridiculous amount of money. She'd be like, "Yup, I'll just build the fucking thing in another spot then." Like
Yeah.
take the money and but here it's like so convoluted where it the escalation is ridiculous to the point where the bad guys hurt the little girl and the father and they
Mm.
burn down the store, which is
Yeah.
similar to what happened.
Yeah.
Similar
What
elements,
happened to
but
Emmett?
completely different character setups.
Mm,
But
mm.
when he snaps and he kills that first guy, he like closes his throat and but he drown. He drown when he snaps. That's when I'm like, oh, this is a bit different because Patrick Swayze's character is reluctant. He doesn't snap at any point in that movie. His whole goal is to be and at the end when he rips the guy's throat out, it's
That's
not
when
a
he's had
good thing
enough.
for it's not like satisfying. And even his girlfriend like rushes into the water to help the bad guy who realizes he's a goner. But like there's a bit of it here. It's more like mindless, like just balls to the wall action stuff. And I gotta admit, the fight at the end between Conor McGregor and Jake Gyllenhaal's character Dalton is really good. Like the stabbing stuff, but it is less believable than the original cult classic in the sense that he gets stabbed at the beginning of the movie and just like walks it off. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, that's not how
That.
stabbings work. But
Yeah.
anyway. And then Conor
Yeah.
in the post credit scene, you see that Conor McGregor's character survived. And you're like, what? Come on, he didn't fucking survive that. Whatever. But it's fun. There's gonna be a sequel, hopefully. But that director's
Yeah.
kooky, man. That director's
Yeah.
weird. He's like, they said it was gonna be theatrical, and then Jake Gyllenhaal's like, no, no, you're out of your mind.
Yeah. No. I mean, look. I have a lot of respect for Doug Liman because Doug Liman has done a lot of movies I love. He did the original Born Identity. He did a movie that I adore called Go, and also he did All You Need Is Kill. I'm kidding. He did Edge of Tomorrow that makes no sense. Um, but it's the same movie. But the book that it's based on was All You Need Is Kill, and then they changed it to Edge of Tomorrow that makes no sense and has nothing to do with the the plot of the movie, but
Live, die,
whatever.
repeat. All you need is
Yeah,
kill. The Edge
yeah,
of Tomorrow.
yeah. So
Did you
I
know the Edge
really
of Tomorrow was the name of the soap opera from one of the characters in Just Shoot Me? Or
I didn't know that.
it's either Just Shoot Me or Hot in Cleveland. So one of the characters was a soap opera. I think it's Hot in Cleveland. One of the I could be wrong. It could be a false memory, but yeah, their soap opera is called Edge of Tomorrow. I'm
Right.
like,
Yeah.
is that where they got it from? I'm like, oh god,
Yeah,
such a stupid name.
I did not know that. So, good on you, but I think Doug Lyman I don't know what he's smoking or I don't know what he's trying to get, but I am 100% sure that when they were doing the contract for this movie, Amazon made it explicit to Doug Lyman. They go, just so you know, this movie is going to go to streaming, and if you agree to this, that's the deal that we make, and that's the end of that. So I don't know what Doug Lyman is hoping to gain from the things that he said about this film and trying to make Amazon the villain when that's the deal that they made.
And it's hard to know. This movie could have been profitable in theaters, could have been, but there's no
Yeah,
guarantee. I think as a streaming movie, it's fun and it works, and it's something a lot of people are going to go to right away because Jiggly Balls is popular. Uh,
super well.
but I don't think it would have had the same appeal in theaters. I don't think this would have had a quick run.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think it would have
yeah.
made 60, 70 million worldwide tops. So
Yeah,
probably wouldn't
also,
have broken even. I don't know. I'm just assuming. I really don't know. But when you watch it, it is a streaming movie. It's parts of it are filmed like a widescreen theatrical movie that you could imagine seeing on the big screen. However, those morph cuts
Oh,
almost ruined the action in the movie. You got to kind of like push that out of your mind. I'm like, I would rather see the actors in multiple cuts rather than this
more stuff.
illusion that you're filming a continuous fight scene and you're whip handing the camera to do these morph cuts, which are so fucking obvious. They don't know how.
Right.
I think the what's the movie, the Golden Circle, uh, the Kingsman movies
Kingsman: The
kind of
Golden Circle. Yeah,
made that popular. It was the first movie to ever really do that,
do that.
and it was
Yeah.
cool at the time. But when you go back and watch that church fight, which is a
Hmm.
continuous kind of shot with morph, what they call morph cuts, where it's like
Yeah.
it's a way of cutting between pieces of action to give the
Right.
illusion that it's continuous, but it never looks real. It never looks right.
Hmm.
It's not like Daredevil stuff. Remember when they did Daredevil Netflix? They actually had
Yeah.
like you can imagine them just with the camera and the action going on and on
Right. Hmm.
with
No,
certain
I mean,
cuts that were not noticeable.
yeah. No, I mean, I mean, look, this movie was a movie and it had the name Roadhouse, but every time that I want to watch Roadhouse, I'm going to watch the good old trusty Patrick Swayze Roadhouse because that's Roadhouse to me. This other one is like, yeah, whatever. But that's what that's what unfortunately is. And like I said, all the drama that this movie had before it came out on Amazon Prime, I I would think had a effect on people or got them interest in the project. And also it's possible that the reason why Doug Lyman is really stirring up shit is because everything that he said in the trades is a bunch of bullshit, and he knows that he could have done a better job with this movie, so he could have been stirring up all that shit against Amazon to get more eyes on his movie. So this, I mean, look, I have no way of proving this, but it could just all be a PR stunt. So we'll we'll never know. Um,
Oh, well, I forgot to mention earlier, by the way, it is confirmed that we won't get Strange New World season 3 this year. It will be
oh,
2025.
okay, okay, all
We
right.
might not get Starfleet Academy until 2026.
Oh gosh,
And we might not get Star Trek 4 until 2044.
yeah, I like that. Until 2024. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I am kind of
Still no
bummed.
word on Prodigy season 2 though. Like
Yeah,
when's that
but
happening?
yeah, um, I am kind of bummed about Strange New Worlds because I am enjoying that series despite the issues that I have with it more and more. Um, yeah, but I'm really, like we are knocking on the door of Discovery season, the final season starting. So I'm really, really excited about that.
I think Strange New
Um,
World season 3 is going to be better for the fact that I think they took big
yeah,
swings in season 2
yeah,
and they probably realized like where the balance is because they did this
right.
weird thing in season 2 that I always bring up where one episode will be super serious, the next would be super silly, super serious, super
Yep.
silly, it was a weird pattern that it didn't gel with an entire a complete season of a TV show. It felt very disjointed, episodic, yes, and that's a good thing.
Hmm.
And half the episodes were decent, some were very good, some were very bad. But
Yeah.
season 3 with the image of Spock in that spacesuit that's very reminiscent of TOS, I think they're consciously trying to find that bridge in visual continuity between Strange New Worlds as it goes along and TOS. And that
Right.
spacesuit, which I didn't imagine they could do that in modern day. That old, is it red? It's a red space, a dark red.
Yeah. It's a
Uh,
red spacesuit.
I didn't think they could translate that into a modern show, but it looks good. It looks appropriate, and it's like,
Yeah, it
wow,
does.
that old school 60s thing that I thought wouldn't work. And of course, when
Works.
Discovery came along, they said, "Oh, they redesigned the spacesuits." I'm like, well, they're pre those red. in spacesuits. So maybe, maybe they might get into that, but never thinking they would.
Right.
I don't know.
Well,
The bridge is still a bit of a big reimagining in terms of space and shininess. I think I think they should go more simplistic. If like the bridge ever gets messed up and they have to like put it back together or something, like let's
right.
make it a bit smaller, a tiny bit smaller and less shiny.
Yeah.
But whatever, nitpicks. At
Yeah,
least they're
no, I
trying, eh?
think yeah. At least they're trying. No, I think the third season of Star Trek Disco I'm sorry. Ugh. The third season of Strange New Worlds is going to be good. I mean, for God's sakes, at least we're going to get that conclusion to that cliffhanger that you and I have been sitting on for almost a year now, but by the time it
Oh, I
starts, it's going to
forgot
be 2
about
years.
that.
Yeah.
Hegemony, part two.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So what? It's going to be like 2 years or no?
No, it's gonna be. I'd say it's gonna be about a year from now.
Yeah. So,
First quarter of 2025 is a safe bet for Discover. But this year we're still getting Prodigy,
yep.
uh, Lower Decks.
Yep.
So it's a
And
guaranteed 20.
yeah,
And
and
Discovery is
this
a
10
that's
more.
30 episodes guaranteed pretty much, although there hasn't been an official announcement about Prodigy season 2 and whether we'll
And
get 10 this year or 10 next year or 20 all in one year, but I don't know.
yeah, and don't forget the Section 31 movie that a lot of us said that thing's never going to happen is now done and in the can. So we might,
I
you
never
know,
thought this series would happen, and then they're like, "Let's do a movie instead." Oh, maybe that's more up your alley. Get a good chunk of like story and action into a 2 hour thing.
yeah.
That could work. Now that it's presumably being, I don't know if it's confirmed, but we can assume that
Mm.
it's going to take place primarily, at least, in the
Right.
early 24th century, in an era of Star Trek lore that hasn't been explored yet.
Mhm.
And what is Giorgio's part? Remember, because the Guardian would have had to send her back in time to get her closer to, because the further away in time she was because she was in the 32nd century, she was not only displaced in time, but
Right.
it was further away from the mirror universe. However, whatever techno jargon they used to explain the separation that
Uh
made her weak and like
uh-huh.
flicker like she's a digital file or something. It was really dumb.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
but to send her back not to the 23rd but the 24th still meant she was really close enough to like so he didn't the Guardian of Forever didn't necessarily have to send her back to exactly where Discovery came from in like
Mhm.
2258 or 2259 or whatever it was. So
Right.
the fact that it could be maybe 23, 24, 25 or something like that,
Okay.
that'd be cool.
Yeah, but yeah.
That makes me interested more than before. Like to get some, that's what I want. I want plot details and hints. And Rachel Garrett is going to be a character, not as a captain,
Okay.
probably as an ensign or something minor like that.
Okay. I mean, look, it's gonna be look. It's gonna be really fun because I've been excited about this Section 31 project. Even in its early stage when it was gonna be a show and it was gonna have Jitad Latif or
Shazad Latif, yeah.
yeah, Shazad Latif. Um, so I don't know if he's gonna be in this movie.
No,
Probably
no,
not.
no. Neither him or Mary Chieffo have anything to do with the Section 31 movie. So the fact that it kind of makes more sense now that we haven't seen any cast previously established in Discovery
Yeah.
return, because if she did go to the 24th century instead
How
of
you get?
back to where she
Yeah.
was,
From
like she would meet a whole new group of people that we would not have met yet.
right,
Familiar
right, right,
characters, yes, like Rachel Garrett. Uh,
right.
and we also
So
don't know how many captains of each ship, Enterprise B and C, that there were. We don't know that there was a captain after the guy from Generations, Ferris Bueller's friend. Uh, and we don't know if Rachel Garrett was the first or second or whatever.
Mhm.
She was definitely the last captain
Yeah.
of the Enterprise C. But yeah.
Yeah, look, it'll be interesting to see this film and to see how Michelle Yeoh plays it and what she has to do. Um, yeah, no, I'm very excited, and hopefully we get this movie by Christmas.
All
Um,
right, they have to humanize Giorgio in a way. Like I said, she might be in charge of protecting like a child or a family, or perhaps she has to protect an important young person like Rachel Garrett because she knows through time travel shenanigans,
what's gonna happen to her?
confidential Section 31 style, that Rachel Garrett is essential to the future of Starfleet. Just like in yesterday's Enterprise, if you
Yeah,
changed her fate or the fate of that crew, then the next 20 years or so would be really shitty for
yeah, yeah,
Starfleet,
yeah.
the
Yeah,
the Federation.
yeah.
So maybe that's the thing where she's like, Rachel Garrett's important, that must protect her. But yeah.
Also, you mentioned time travel. I really hope that there's a scene where the two Georgios meet each other. You have like Prime Giorgio and you have Mirror Giorgio. I think that would be really cool. I mean, that for me as a fan would be
Whoa,
interesting.
that would I would be, yeah, that would be interesting to see in the movie. What if it's like oh, I don't know, well, Burnham wouldn't have to be there. Burnham couldn't be there
No,
because Burnham would remember.
no,
But if it was just Prime
Giorgio.
Giorgio alone,
Yeah,
and
there you
she
go.
never spoke of the encounter,
There you go.
there you go. That could work. But it would
Yeah,
have to serve a narrative purpose. I don't know if in this particular movie she would be jumping around in time, but maybe she has knowledge,
yeah. I mean,
time traveling knowledge, like that image of the guy with the Borg spine on his head.
yeah, yeah.
That would that's a clue that there might be some time travel stuff. Like he's a dude, he's like a time hopper, and I guess I guess the temporal authority in the Star Trek world would deal
Uh-huh.
with stuff like that. But I wonder what Section 31's part would play in that.
Yeah. No, I think I mean, look, I'm just saying that as a fan, I don't know if we're gonna get that. I'm not saying that we're gonna get that, but yeah, I'm. That's what I would do if I had the Guardian of Forever and if I implore time travel.
The Guardian of Forever. All right. Well, that'll do it for us tonight. Uh,
Yeah,
very exciting news, I guess.
yeah, and
It
it
all
was
depends on if these things are good. It's all fine and good to get excited about announcements of characters and stuff like that.
yeah,
But the one that really just I don't want to hear about anymore is the Star Trek 4 stuff. Like just stop it.
just
Give
stop
up.
it.
Give up. It's
Just
like when
give up.
Jerry Seinfeld says to Sally Weaver, "Give up, kid, you stink." And then she makes a whole act based on her hatred for Jerry Seinfeld telling her to quit.
Yeah, yeah. I look.
This is what the creators are doing to troll us people like me who are saying stop. They're like, stop, will we? Well, here's another announcement of another writer. We've spent
Excellent.
$40 million on this movie already, and it hasn't even begun. I mean, they've had to pay people. I'm pretty sure, like
Yeah,
they've
yeah, of course.
commissioned scripts and paid Orsi and
Yeah, yeah,
whoever the fuck else wrote a script for
yeah,
this
yeah.
thing,
That's money.
and they're like, that's money and time, and the cast keeps saying like, oh, I don't know,
Oh,
I don't
yeah,
know.
it's
Star Trek
crazy.
4, what's that? Zoe Saldana is like, she's done like 5 avatars. She's filmed like 5 avatars at this point,
Yeah, yeah.
and she's
You know,
like, I'm
in that
40
time
years
period.
older now. Why do no? That's not, I'm joking, but
No.
it's
Yeah,
it's stupid, so stupid.
yeah. Look. The only thing that I will say about Star Trek 4 that isn't remotely close to anything I've said on the stream about it is hope springs eternal. I mean, that's the only thing I could say.
Well, we'll end on that positive note. Let's hope they make it. Let's hope it's It's good, but I really don't care. I'm more interested in the TV stuff. The TV movie side of it too is probably more interesting than theatrical, because in the
Yeah.
theatrical side, in my opinion, they don't know what to do. They're like, yeah, we got Star Trek 4, but we also have this Origin movie. It's like, didn't wasn't Enterprise an Origin? What other Origin are you doing? What does that mean? And it's like it's everything's so vague all the time. When like plot details have not been released because I don't think there's any plots in anybody's heads that have been put to paper
They just
that
they
are that are meaningful enough to say,
just
"Oh,
think
this is a
of
guaranteed winner."
they fucking just take a really cool concept and throw them on a board going, we're gonna go with this, and this. And who gives a fuck if it all makes sense?
It's literally a dartboard full of ideas, and they just have a blindfold on. They just throw the dart, and it's like, oh, I guess this. They have writers' names, so like this Yoki guy or Yaki guy. They're like, they picked his name out of a fucking hat, just because they were like,
Yeah.
we don't know.
Yeah,
Like they
yeah.
don't know. They don't. It seems like they don't know if a fan can do it well or a non-fan. Like
Yeah.
just hire somebody who's competent and well read. And whether they're
Mhm.
a fan or
Yeah.
not, if they're assigned a task, they will
The
learn the franchise and learn how to write
yeah,
within that
the
context
confines.
in the
I mean,
confines.
the perfect, example of that is, Nicholas Meyer, right? When Nicholas Meyer got offered the Star Trek job, he knew nothing about Star Trek. The only thing he knew is, oh, is that the one with the guy with the pointy ears? That was it.
Yeah,
But Nick took the job, he did his research, and he delivered one of the best. He delivered two of the best films in franchise history. And he wasn't a fan. He became a fan later on, but when he did it initially, he wasn't a fan. He didn't care.
yeah. He
Huh?
he's he looked at Trek, studied it, and gave a
Yeah.
more militaristic feel in terms of the lighting and the uniform.
Yeah.
And I've heard people compare like it's a Horatio Hornblower. I think he said
In
it's
space,
inspired
yeah.
by that kind of thing, and it's more of a it's a space uh, story, but it's based on sailing ships.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And the
yeah.
way they do the movies now is that the ships look like light as hell and way too maneuverable for their size. I'll give it that in 2009 Star Trek, you do get a sense of like weight and scale
Wait.
in terms and different POVs in terms of action that you've never saw in
Yeah.
Star Trek before. But uh, you look at Picard and some of the shows, some of the ships are like bouncing around like CG objects, and it doesn't look like uh, Star Trek Picard season 3. Funny enough, brought that back to where the ship, the
Look weighty.
Titan, it felt weighty and like the maneuverability and like how fast they could get around like
Right.
being shot at or something. It really does make a difference, and
Mhm.
that's why you kind of have to look. Someone has to go into Star Trek if they're writing a show or movie that involves like ship battles and stuff. That is all based
Right.
on naval uh, stuff. Like these ships are large and lumbering, and yes, in space, like everything's weightless, but the inertia and the maneuverability of certain ships will depend on the size.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
of course, if a
You
huge
know,
ship is faced with a smaller ship, the firepower alone, screw maneuverability, you can just fucking blow them out of the water. But
yeah, yeah.
like the Shrike versus the Titan is a great example of
um,
more realistic kind of space
ship battle, right?
encounters, yeah, battles.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, I also think that's a great point. That the current Star Trek projects haven't taken into account. Um, I don't get that, you know, into the woods about that side of Star Trek, but you make a great point.
All right. Well, I want to thank you, Marcelo, for joining me. You can find
No, thank you.
yourself at on your channel at Balloonhead Productions.
Yeah, if if you want to hear me talk more about Star Trek, I have reviewed the first two seasons of Strange New Worlds, where this gentleman is a frequent contributor to my channel. I also do watch alongs for Buffy and Dawson's Creek at the moment. I also have a couple episode reviews of the original series of Star Trek. Um, and I have a bunch of stuff on there as well. And also, um, if you want to see everything that I do, I would recommend that you go over to my X page or Twitter page or whatever you call it. I'm at Creek Fanatic 88, and underneath my profile, you'll see my link tree, which will give you access to all of my other stuff that I do. So,
Awesome. And I can't
yeah,
wait to start talking about Discovery season 5 with you.
yeah, man.
I just hope I'm not like depressed while I'm talking
Hopefully
about it,
not.
because I know with Discovery it's going to be like, "Oh, it's a good season opener like they usually do. Yay."
Yep.
And then like episode 2's not bad. Oh, now we're getting into 3 and 4 and oh, okay,
Now
this
we
is bullshit.
here
It's
we
taking the
go.
plot's taking too long.
Right,
You get to the 10C. What are the 10C saying? Tell the
right.
10C not to do the thing that they're doing. And it's like I get it. Season 4 is probably the most coherent season yet. Way too
Yeah,
long. Way
it's
too
very
long.
plotty.
And the book other guy stuff really dragged on way too much.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
No,
season
yeah,
5, let's hope it's all, fun and
y-
games.
yeah. I mean, that's what we can hope for, right?
Wouldn't it be funny if season 5 was like a banger? Like it was
Oh,
people were like,
that'd be
wow, this is
great.
pretty good. And it's like, yeah, but we're over now.
That would
It
be
took us 5
great.
seasons to hit our stride.
No, 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 no.
Even if
Seriously,
season 5 is the best, but the last, it's still, it would be a
yeah,
positive indication of them moving forward with learning from their mistakes and making more entertaining
yeah,
and logical Star Trek as opposed to
yeah. I
the
mean,
more magical side of it that they're doing.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I mean, you brought up early in the stream that Kurtzman wants to do more TV movies, if I heard you right. And if Star Trek Discovery is indeed a banger, then I think Star Trek Discovery is a candidate for a TV movie to continue the story of Michael Burnham and her cohorts, so to speak,
But yeah, if so, maybe a
at
few
some
years
point.
down the line. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't, I think people are going to move, I think a lot of people are going to move on pretty quick from Discovery. And
Okay.
it's not, like I said, with Starfleet Academy now being confirmed to be set in the 32nd century, it's not
Right.
like the characters are gone for good. I mean, they can always come
No.
back in
Yeah.
some
They can always come
capacity.
back.
And
Yeah. They can
you could
always come
definitely
back.
do, a TV movie that combines characters from Starfleet Academy and Discovery. I think
You
that would
could
be a
definitely.
better idea. Uh, Same thing with Picard. If they do a Picard follow-up movie,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
have it be a Patrick Stewart vehicle, but make sure you get that backdoor pilot for Jerry Ryan and her crew.
Right. hmm
Uh, uh,
You know why I say that? Because I'm so used to. I'm so used to like um the the Rick Berman era where you would have 7 seasons of TNG, and then you would have the movies, right? Or you would have 3 seasons of the original series, and then you have the movies. So that's where I get that hope from. But I realize that it's impractical this day and age for a lot of folks.
it's so sad that logically the next theatrical Star Trek movie, in my mind, and I've said this a lot, should simply be a sequel to Nemesis. And of course, Picard is like a sequel to Nemesis, and it wraps a lot of things up.
Yeah,
And it's
right.
like a final. But I
It's
mean,
in now.
at this point now, a sequel to Nemesis would be just the Jerry Ryan led Enterprise G movie,
Yeah,
where
it would be.
you do what they did with Star Trek Generations,
hmm
and it's like, hey, you just had 6 with the old crew in their last mission. Well, we're still doing more Star Trek movies. Here's a whole new crew of the Enterprise D.
with
Jump in a couple of letters, right? So
with
then,
Later
like
on in town.
25 years or whatever after Nemesis, the,
hmm
say the Kelvin is put to bed finally, which I don't know, whatever.
Yeah,
Let's just
whatever.
hope. But they're like, okay, we're finally gonna do a movie, and it's gonna star Jerry Ryan. It's gonna be about the Enterprise. It's basically just gonna be the next generation in the film era, which makes total fucking sense if you think about
hmm
it, because you had 23rd century TOS TV show and
Right.
movies. Then you had the 24th century TNG and movies. And now you
hmm
have the 25th century. Like it's such a logical progression that I don't that they don't that it's never going to happen. It's just that's the saddest part. But I did
Yeah,
also say that I thought TNG crew getting back together would never happen, but that ended up happening. It ended up being pretty decent. So I don't know.
they
Who
did.
knows what the future will hold? Hopefully, Alex Kurtzman. Uh, I know people hate him a lot, but I think he's trying.
Yeah,
I think he's
guys.
trying.
Look, guys.
I don't think he's this devil that some people think he
No,
is.
no, he's not. No, and
Although
look, if you
he is
look,
a bit annoying, but whatever.
yeah, look. If you're
So am
not,
I. I don't
mm,
know.
if you're not a creative individual, and if you're not a person that really understands what it takes to write TV and what it takes to make TV, then everything you have to say kind of goes to that pile of, oh, okay, this is what you think, but you have really no state of reference what it really takes to make all these things and how hard it is.
Mm.
But that's just me. So
Yeah, I think it's okay to criticize the product when
yeah, of
it
course,
airs and
of
stuff like
course.
that. But yeah, there are people out there who say they don't care and they're not trying. I don't believe that, and I've said that time
No,
and time
yeah,
again.
no, they're trying
It's not for lack of trying. It's just an incredibly difficult thing.
to do. Yeah.
I always blame. I used to like say it's always the top down thing. It's always the producer down.
Yep.
He's the producers, the executive producers are the ones responsible for hiring all the creatives and the people who should know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But it is so difficult. And
Yeah.
he scored with Terry Metalis.
He
So I think
did.
he has that could be a learning thing, a learning curve for him, where
He
he's like,
did. And
I
and
understand what creatives don't and do work. Like
right.
obviously, the first season of Discovery was a challenge because he was taking over for Brian Fuller,
Yeah.
who
Who God knows.
he's a bit of a weirdo. He's a bit of a whack job, to
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean,
Yeah, he has to
look.
crack my back one time. I'm like, not with. He had a boner. It was weird. Do you hear about that? Do you hear about the dude who like? It's like he used to crack my Alfred to crack my back and he'd have an erection. I'm like, you know what? The guy who created American Gods sounds about right now. Very sexually explicit show, but whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, look.
I'm joking.
I no, I really think no, I really think what PJ said is right. Everything, starts from the top down and it just goes downwards. And unfortunately, Alex Kurtzman's head of the top of the tree. So
I thought you were
anybody,
gonna say Alex Kurtzman's head is up his ass. No,
no, no.
no.
Um, I will just say anybody who's mad at current Star Trek for whatever reason, Kurtzman's head is coming off first, no matter what. So,
Well, that's a
you know,
violent image.
yeah,
He's like
I
Marie
think,
Antoinette all of a sudden.
yeah, whoosh, off
Let
with the
them eat Star Trek cake.
cake.
Cellular peptide cake. There you go.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, look, but I do agree with PJ that there's no way in God's green earth that Alex Kurtzman or any of the creators that he employs are purposely trying to ruin the thing that you grew up on or the thing that you really enjoy or the thing that that you really identify with. They're trying to do a good job.
I guarantee when you see the first trailer for Section 31 or the next or final trailer for Star Trek Discovery
Yeah,
or Starfleet Academy,
yeah.
there's going to be a lot of comments. But what about Legacy? But what about Legacy?
Oh,
I think a certain section of people out there need to get over the fact that they believe Kurtzman doesn't want it. Stop believing in that
stop thinking that.
internet jargon bullshit where he said today in that variety article, like they're interested, like it's clearly a thing that people want. What happened with Strange New Worlds? Strange New Worlds only came into existence because people were
Because of
like,
us.
we like Anson Mountain, let's do an Enterprise show with him. And I was one of those people.
Yeah.
And what
Also,
I got was something iffy, but a lot of people fucking love it, and I love that a lot of people love it.
yeah.
It's satisfying a
Also,
lot of folks out there.
the other thing that a lot of people discount when they go, "Oh, we brought Strange New Worlds into existence. The other thing that you're discounting is that way back in, I think it was season 1 or season 2, I think it was, when when um what's his name? Oh my god. Not
Anson
Shay
Mount,
Bond. No, no, no. Yes, Akiva Goldsman. Way
Akiva
back
Goldsman.
when yeah, look, way back when Akiva Goldsman came to write for Discovery, he thought that it was a show about uh, um, Pike in number one. So he had already been in Alex's ear like worm tongue. Let me do a show about Anson Mount in number one. Okay.
Not Anson Mount, but Pike. Yeah,
Right, Pike. What? Yeah. Pike. Thank you.
I've heard that
So
story, and that is such a weird story, isn't it? Like, how
yeah,
ill
yeah,
informed were you?
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think I
So
think I think the story comes from the fact that
that's
he
so
just
weird.
thought for a second that that
Yeah,
was the case.
yeah.
You
No,
didn't
but
think it for long though.
the other thing is that you know, when Akiva Goldsman was a part of Star Trek Discovery, he wrote New Eden as a proof of concept as to what a potential show about Pike in number one could be. So he actually wrote that episode in mind to show, okay, if we end up doing a Star Trek show with Pike in number one, this is what it could look like. I think a lot of things behind the scenes went into them eventually going, okay, we're going to do a show on the Enterprise and we're going to call it Strange New Worlds. But I think the thing that pushed it over the edge is the critical response for Anson Mount as Pike and Rebecca Romaine as number one, and of course Ethan Peck as Spock. That's the thing that really pushed it.
And did you know? I never noticed at the time that there wasn't pestering about Strange New Worlds. It
No,
was like, do a Pike show, but it wasn't like this whole thing where the like, you're never gonna do it, so we're just gonna troll every comment and say
yeah,
Pike show, Pike show. There was none of that. And this legacy stuff, I see how people are getting annoyed with it because I took a break from social media for a bit, so I
yeah.
did. But when you get back to it, you're like, holy shit! Every time there's something online about a Star Trek project, it's people are just like, what about legacy? And like,
Uh huh.
pestering doesn't make it come any faster. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like, it's not
yeah,
like just understand.
yeah.
And it's almost like Kurtzman has to say, we're considering a follow up. But when things aren't in active development and there's an actual script or a plan involved yet,
Right.
it's not like you can come out and say, well, we're definitely doing it.
No,
It's like the
no.
Starfleet Academy series was remember, that was like kind of like a rumor and a thought
Yeah, it was.
way before it was ever confirmed.
It was.
It was only
Yeah,
confirmed like not that long ago, really.
yeah.
But
It
the
was
idea of it's been around since like 2017, 2018,
for a while. Yeah,
since Discovery began. And it's been
yeah, yeah.
actually, the idea has been around before, but in terms of uh like
Right.
Kurtzman has said a long time ago that interested in doing such a thing, and then a couple of years later it's like, yes, it's confirmed, it's greenlit, we are spending money to cast, right, do all the things. And you know what, I give it respect. I give him respect for the fact that even though all of his projects in terms of the modern Trek aren't the best in my eyes, like Picard season 2 drove me mad,
Yeah.
at least they get it done. At least they they
Yeah.
they churn it out. I know
Yeah.
that sounds kind of schlocky because you just don't want to churn out product for the sake of product and not have it all be good. I
At
believe
least
they're
they do it.
trying every time. I
Yeah.
think there were certain restrictions with Picard season 2 that really affected the quality of that series, and indeed the plot was deeply affected by their limitations during COVID,
Right.
uh,
Right. Right. Yeah.
which led them to filming outside more and stuff like this. But
Mhm.
as long as each season of a show and each uh, iteration of Trek that comes out is it shows improvements in ways. Picard season 3, of course, major improvement. Strange New World season 2, iffy, half good, but you got to give them points for the Klingons. You have to give Picard season 1 points for the Romulans. There's little things where they say, "Look, we heard you and we care, so we're gonna show you that more canonical stuff that visually connects, but not throw it all in your face. Not like start season 2 where everything looks TOS. It's
Right.
gradual. So when you come to season 3 and you see more TOS type costumes and settings, it feels much more natural, and it
Hmm.
shows that they care about legacy and characters.
Right.
So stop pestering about legacy and just trust that they understand that there is a legacy there and they want to honor it. I
Yeah.
believe. But you know, R&B, Robert Burnett will get on and say, they don't care, they don't know Star Trek, the writers don't read science fiction. He says all this like hyperbolic stuff that is not really provable. It's all speculation, and
Yeah, it's all speculation.
it's based on
Um,
personal feelings
preference.
against. Since 2009 Star Trek has been destroyed.
Oh god.
I believe it's faltered. Like the
Yeah.
reboots were like 2009 was fine for its time when you watched it the first time. Into Darkness was
Mhm.
frustrating. Beyond was a
Yeah.
good movie
Yeah.
version of the TV show. It
Yeah.
really was. It was like, but it had its faults as well.
Mhm.
But what you really want is, at least someone in my age, is uh 25th century going forward.
Yeah. 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 I think I think it was very very wise for Alex Kurtzman and the team to put the Starfleet Academy series in the 22nd century into a pot in
32nd.
uh 32nd. Thank you. 32nd century into that discovery time period, and we'll see what happens from here. But I definitely get the toxicity from certain Star Trek fans. That's why I don't read comment sections anymore. I don't do that. I just go by a few select people that I trust, but I don't wade into comment sections anymore because I'm like, why am I going to drive myself crazy with all these yuppies that I don't care about? Like, but that's just me. So
What if the it was a Star Trek Academy series? Like I've said this, I've talked about this before we knew the setting. What if it was the early, basically the same time that the Section 31 movies apparently set, the early 2300s, or
oof.
the early 24th century, where you get like young Picard and stuff, and young people would
Oh
be like
hell no.
nostalgia bait.
Yeah, yeah, nostalgia. No,
But
that
new characters, fine. New
yeah,
setting, 30 seconds, fine,
yeah,
fine, fine.
fine.
Just give me something interesting and entertaining. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's the
But
way to do it.
on that note, we're going to say goodnight. But it's been a vibrant discussion. I can't wait to talk about Discovery with you. And
Yeah,
until next
it'll be
time,
fun.
folks, live long and prosper.